This is a map of Indonesia, home to over 13,166 islands, approximately 9,000 of which have been named. The archipelago's major islands include Sumatra, Java, Borneo, Sulawesi, and New Guinea. A particular point of interest for those fascinated by supervolcanoes is Lake Toba in Indonesia. While the lake itself is a breathtaking sight, few realize that it conceals the world's most colossal volcano beneath its tranquil waters, a volcano known for its earth-shattering eruption. What is the true power of this volcano, and could its eruption have an impact on your region? Join us as we explore Indonesia and uncover the secrets of the largest volcano ever recorded that dramatically split the Earth's surface. Indonesia is a really popular spot for tourists. It's located in Southeast Asia and surrounded by a bunch of seas and oceans. Picture it like this. The Indian Ocean is on its south and west sides, while the Timor Sea and Arafura Sea hug its southern edges. Up in the northwest, there's the Bay of Bengal, and to the north, it faces either the South China Sea or the Pacific Ocean, along with some smaller seas. This place shares its borders with some neighbors. There's Malaysia on Borneo, Papua New Guinea, and East Timor on Timor, and maritime borders with Australia, India, Palau, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Indonesia is a country made up of 5 big islands and about 30 smaller groups. Surprisingly, there are over 17,000 islands in total, with around 6,000 of them inhabited by people. It holds the title of the world's largest island country, covering a vast area of about 1.9 million square kilometers, larger than Germany, but a bit smaller than Mexico. The population is immense, with over 271 million people, making it the most densely populated island nation globally. The terrain of Indonesia is quite varied, featuring hilly landscapes with peaks ranging from 3,000 to 3,800 meters. However, the region is highly active geologically because it sits in the Ring of Fire, known for its frequent volcanic activity and earthquakes. Indonesia is the third country globally with the most volcanoes, following the United States and Russia. The nation experiences earthquakes and even tsunamis due to its location at the convergence of tectonic plates from Australia, Asia, and the Pacific. One specific area, Papua, showcases the impact of tectonic plate movements, creating towering mountains with snow-covered peaks and hot, humid flatlands along the coast. This region is marked by geological activity, featuring active and potentially active volcanoes. The Sunda Arc, covering about a quarter of Indonesia's volcanoes, is a hotbed of tectonic activity. The complex interplay of tiny plates diving under larger ones gives rise to volcanoes in Sulawesi, Halmahera, and Sangihe. Overall, Indonesia boasts around 400 volcanoes, approximately 1/3 of the world's active ones. Geological activity is a daily occurrence in Indonesia, with around 3 earthquakes of magnitude 5 or more on the Richter scale happening almost every day. Despite the risks, volcanic eruptions have a silver lining. Ash and lava enrich the soil, supporting abundant crop growth, and the high volcanoes contribute to rainfall, aiding agriculture in the region. Volcanoes are a huge deal in Indonesia. They're not just mountains, they're like the heartbeat of life here. They do some pretty cool things like making the soil awesome for growing crops. For example, in Java, farmers can grow rice 3 times faster than in places with fewer volcanoes like Borneo. Indonesia has loads of active volcanoes, more than anywhere else in the world. In 2006, there were about 1,171 eruptions, almost as many as Japan. Some famous ones, like Mount Merapi and Soputan, woke up in 2007 and 2008. Java has been a hotspot for eruptions. Between 1972 and 1991, there were 29 big explosions, mostly in Java. From 2000 to 2009, there were 110 new eruptions, again many in Java. People there call volcanoes gunung, which means fire mountains. There's a group called the Volcanological Survey of Indonesia that tries to keep an eye on these fiery mountains. They've been around since the 1920s and watch over dangerous ones like Merapi and Sinabung, trying to guess what they might do next. But it's tricky to predict. Loads of people live really close to these active volcanoes, especially in Java. There are over 30 volcanoes in Java, and about 120 million people live nearby. Over the past 500 years, around 140,000 people lost their lives because of these volcanoes. When they erupt, it can be super dangerous. Hot lava, suffocating mud, and huge waves called tsunamis can harm people nearby. Different communities have their own stories and traditions about these volcanoes. Some believe in ancient tales about their origins, while others perform rituals. For instance, in Sumatra, the Batak group has a story about the first person landing on Mount Pusuk Buhit. Javan Hindus near Mount Bromo toss offerings like money and veggies into the volcano, and the Ngada people on Flores bury their loved ones facing Mount Inari. In Bali, Mount Agung is a significant volcano. It erupted in 1963, causing destruction, but later seen as a sort of gift. People leave offerings to keep it calm and even climb it to see the sunrise. But they show respect by making offerings and following certain rules. The eruption in '63 caused a lot of damage, making some folks leave their homes and affecting the island. The big eruption in Bali made people really question their leaders. Some thought it showed the government wasn't doing the right thing. It caused a lot of chaos and made folks think hard about their beliefs. During a meeting about tourism, a big explosion from the volcano killed around 200 people in Serangan. In Tulamben village, almost everyone got hurt by the hot gas clouds or burned. Other places had mud and ash everywhere. And even after weeks, kids were getting sick and some died. Some areas were too hot to go near and had bodies lying around. Some eaten by animals. Ash and clouds spread all the way to Java, making it dark during the day and hard to find water. Besaki, a special shrine, was right under the volcano. Even though the governor warned it wasn't safe, lots of people went there for the ceremony. They gave gifts like rice, cakes, and fruit to their gods. Some ceremonies were really intense, with women picking up hot coals barehanded. There's another big volcano in Indonesia called Mount Tambora. A long time ago in 1815, there was a huge eruption. It blew up so strongly that it made Tambora shorter and left a huge hole. Before it exploded, there were signs something bad might happen. When it erupted, it was super loud and threw huge rocks and burning ash down the mountain really fast, wrecking everything in its way before it reached the ocean. Around 10,000 people died right away, but lots more died later from hunger and sickness. A governor sent someone to check what happened, and they found villages empty, houses broken, and bodies still there. Survivors struggled to find food and got sick from the water that was messed up by the ash. This eruption was really massive and affected the whole world. It caused weird things like red skies and strange fog in the US and amazing sunsets in London. It was a huge deal and changed lots of things everywhere. When volcanoes erupt, things get shaken up all over the world. A long time ago, in 1816, a big eruption happened, and it made everything colder everywhere. The weather got all mixed up, causing a lot of trouble. In places like New York, it snowed during a time it usually doesn't, like in June. It even got frosty in Connecticut. This weird weather made it hard for crops to grow in North America, and that meant there wasn't enough food. In other parts like India and China, the rainy seasons that help crops grow got messed up, causing not enough food and diseases like cholera. That year became known as the Year Without Summer. Another volcano, Krakatoa, made a huge impact on history in 1883 when it erupted. It was a really strong eruption. The explosions were super loud, heard thousands of miles away, and the ash covered the sky, making the weather really strange all around the world. The eruption was so powerful that it created a tsunami, a huge wave that caused a lot of destruction and sadly took many lives. Mount Merapi, called the Mountain of Fire, erupted in 2010 in Indonesia. It's a tall volcano that has erupted many times before, causing damage and even deaths. This eruption was really intense, forcing lots of people to leave their homes, causing damage, and sadly, some people lost their lives. But even that eruption wasn't as massive as the one from Toba, a supervolcano under Lake Toba in Sumatra. This eruption happened a long time ago, like 75,000 years back. It was huge, way bigger than other famous eruptions. The ash from Toba spread out for thousands of kilometers, reaching places even as far as Central Asia and the Middle East. Scientists found bits of volcanic stuff from Toba all the way in South Africa, which was surprising because it showed just how strong that eruption was. People think the Toba eruption might have been a big deal for humans. It happened at a time when humans were starting to spread out from Africa. Some scientists believe that it caused a really cold time, kind of like a winter, which made it tough for humans. They say maybe only around 10,000 people survived that time. But the scary part about Toba is that it could happen again. Scientists are trying to understand more about supervolcanoes like Toba. They went to study it and found some clues about how these big eruptions happen. Turns out, it might not be a sudden thing. The magma might slowly heat up over time, making a volcano explode. This makes supervolcanoes really unpredictable. What do you think about supervolcanoes? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.